Happy end of April, everybody. Welcome to Music Effect Design. We are your hosts. I'm Jordan Pittner. I'm the visual drill writer, music educator out of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm also in sweatpants right now.
I'm Tori. I'm also in sweatpants right now. And I am a teacher and educator out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Holly. I'm a color guide instructor and music teacher, not in sweatpants, based out of Phoenix, Arizona. I didn't know we were doing the sweatpant thing. I definitely
Always sweatpants.
joined in, but
No sweatpants for fetch.
that was unplanned.
It was unplanned. How pleasant. How pleasant. Man, it's been a great month here at Music Effect Design. We've been talking staff development for the last month. This has been fun.
It really has. We've gotten to talk to each other. We've gotten to talk to some good friends and experts, and it's been a blast of an April.
I think I have learned more this month, like professionally, going through everything and being able to educate people on these things. I feel like I've grown and I've learned a lot this month too, which has been awesome. Very refreshing for the start of spring.
I was thinking about this about an hour before we started recording. If you want to really get better at what you do, I mean, this is such a great challenge. It's been a good challenge for us. I know it's been a good challenge for me. Is like, if you need to talk about something for, I mean, how long are these videos? 4.5 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah.
You start to get really good at, well, I'm not making a good case for myself here, but at quantifying what you believe, and it sort of, I feel like it cements it a little bit better. So I don't know. It's been really cool to just stay on one topic for the last few videos. It's been really cool.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been talking staff development. That's included a lot of things. I'll give a really quick Cliff Notes version here. That's included why you want to develop your staff in episode 1, the culture behind that. Episode 2 was how to go through the hiring process and values first hiring. Episode 3, we talked with Lauren Tucker about how to actually train and develop your staff and some of the things you might want to do. And if you find yourself a little bit underfunded, under budgeted, or maybe it's just hard to find staff members to come out and work with your program for other logistical reasons, episode 4 would be a great one for you with Ryan Wood. That is just using your students as your leadership team. So I hope that we have hit kind of a smorgasbord of things that people need for their programs. Like Tori said, I've learned a lot. I'd like to turn it to the two of you. What do you feel like is your biggest takeaway now that we're on the other side of this month?
Well, for me, I think my biggest takeaway is that this can happen with any group, any size program, no matter how big or small or experienced or inexperienced you are. There are things that you can take away from focusing on training your staff, or being part of a staff that has a goal of improvement. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I took away from this is no matter who you are, you can make some room for growth.
Absolutely. Going off of that, with that, I think it is actually a lot harder than what we can like just say it is, right? Like we
Yeah.
can talk all day about, well, this is what you should do and this is how you do it. But thinking about the culture that you either already have or you're
Yeah.
picking up a new culture or the students or the pandemic, like whatever it is, like it's gonna be hard. And I think I don't want to undersell it. Like revamping your staff or the culture that you have or whatever you want to do, undertaking that's a lot of work.
Mhm.
However, I think our point is that the training your staff and training your students or whatever path you're going to go down is it saves you time later, and it also impacts the greater good, right? Like you're putting out better staff members, you're affecting students in a more positive way. It just is such a uh, snowball effect.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I just like pictured a ball rolling. I didn't know what to say. A snowball effect, if you will, of just positive things for the community and your group. So it's a lot of work to build the culture that you need, but it definitely worth it in the end.
Mhm. Yeah, and bouncing off of that, I mean, I think the snowball analogy is a great one because in order to get it started, it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of attention. Whereas once you kind of have that core in place and you've really focused on it for, I mean, I honestly I think like 2 or 3 seasons. Honestly, I mean, I think it'll take
Absolutely.
that long to get your snowball to a place where the momentum can continue to carry itself. So I think that's a great analogy, and I think that's how it works.
Yeah, especially when you think about it in terms of like student leadership, like 2 to 3 years, that's, taking some sophomores through their senior year.
Hmm.
It doesn't take long to build a new culture in a program when you've got a new set coming in and an old set leaving every year.
That's true.
It doesn't take long to reset.
Hmm.
It feels like a long time when you're in the middle of something and you're like, try like change, but in the grand scheme of things, 2 to 3 seasons is
Right.
not that much.
I guess the big thing I would suggest, I'm going to kind of improvise this. I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but I think the thing I would suggest doing is uh, taking pen and paper and writing down two different outcomes. Assume that it's 2 or 3 years in the future, and you've achieved your goal of having a staff that focuses on training and development, and they're highly skilled, and just start to write down how that happened, right, and sort of work your way backwards. Well, this had to have happened in order for us to have a staff that wants to be like that. We need to set the precedent in these ways, and then do it the opposite way too. And I think that'll be probably the more revealing one, actually. It's 2 or 3 years into the future, and it's exactly the same. What were the things that didn't happen that could have made the outcome be the way that you wanted it to be? I think an exercise like that is really good for seeing the divergent path. I know any band director I've ever talked to is like one of the busiest people
Um,
on the planet. So I think probably most likely what would have happened for you to get there is that you just got busy, right? How can you automate it better? How can you delegate some of those responsibilities? How can you set yourself up for success because things are going to get crazy.
especially getting into that routine of the season, you
Hmm.
won't always make the time to do these new things, just because you're in autopilot. You've done this for a long time, or even if you haven't, you
Right.
have watched somebody do this for a long time. So you just kind of get in that path.
Hmm.
So I think the one thing that, instead of just saying, hey, it's going to be hard, you should do something, I think the one thing that we are here to do is to help you in those breaking those bad habits, or breaking those that routine that you're in that you want to get out of. I think that's what we're here to do, is help you be able to train your staff, help you be able to balance those things.
Hmm. Yep, and that's kind of, I guess, where we want to turn things today. So we've got this um, collection of videos that you can access at any time, for you to come back to. And if it's not your main priority now, maybe you've got a festival coming up in the next couple weeks. Maybe you've got a late festival or something like that. Come back to these videos. But if you want some more additional help, there's a few different things you can do. Number one, we introduced some materials on this last week, 2 weeks ago, rather. You should check those out. We've got our ebook, we've got our staff training materials that are there on our website at musiceffectdesign.com. We'll also have the links to those down below as well. So check those out. Um,
We have a bunch of blogs that we've
Thank you.
written throughout the weeks that help as well, with just different resources and different topics to just open up some conversations about struggles or solutions for you.
Yep. And if you need something, like if you're listening to these videos and you're like, yeah, but what about this? Or hey, my situation's a little bit different and you didn't really cover it. Because I've said this like 3 videos ago, but like we kind of throw a lot of nuance to the side here because everybody's programs are so different, right? We can't
Mhm.
address what everybody's program looks like because we would never get out of staff development. We'd just probably be talking about it 365 all year.
Yeah.
So reach out to us. We have our email address for kind of our catch-all is info@musiceffectdesign.com. Again, info@musiceffectdesign.com. We get back to anybody that reaches out to us in there, and we'll definitely do what we can to help you out, or at least point you in the right direction if we don't know.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts? No, I feel like we've covered this topic a lot. Is there anything? I guess I'll open it up to this. Is there anything else that's on your mind, either of you? Anything that's on your mind that we could talk about a little bit more? Is there anything you'd like to emphasize one more time, or you feel like we've covered this pretty well?
I think just to sort of go along with the other things we can do for you, we can answer your questions in email. But if you're wanting some more specific training for your staff or your students tailored to your program, we can help you out there too. Like we can help discuss a specific way to work with your staff and maybe come up with an even more developed plan with our student leadership curriculums that we have, or we can easily help you adapt those to fit your adult staff. So if you're looking for something that's more in-house and specific to you, we can also make that happen for you.
Yeah, we can definitely support you in that way. I was talking to Holly about this the other day, Tori. I did some mathing, and I think we have like 2 decades of experience in this kind of stuff among the
Yeah.
5 of us. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
Imposter syndrome is real. Sometimes I'm like, well, but like, no, we really do have a lot of experience doing this specific thing amongst the 5 of us. So
Absolutely. And we've been trained by some of the best as well. So um, I think that what I was going to say, in addition to all the things that we offer and all whatever, the one thing that would be helpful is reading some of the books that we've put out there as well.
Sure.
If you aren't ready for like an in-depth conversation with us, even the first step would be to read some of the books that we put out there. I know Jordan writes blogs on some of the books that have inspired him and that he's read. I know a bunch of the leadership curriculum that we put out is based on books. So if you want to interpret those in different ways, that's great too. But anything to better yourself will better your program, will better your students. Just remembering that you're always learning and always growing. And I'm so excited to see what these little things for your program can do in the future. Like anything little and small, even if it's like the mini hacks that we wrote a blog about a few weeks ago, things like that, even if they're really small, can go a long way. So it doesn't have to be like an overhaul of everything, but if you want it to, it can be. But also remember, little things can add up as well. So any book recommendations, you can find those on our blogs too.
good point. I've written multiple book recommendation blogs.
Yes.
I was thinking that's a great point, Tori. I was thinking about the 1% thing the other day and the Kaizen method. I guess if I'm talking about that on a blog, we should probably talk about what that is. But I was thinking about, we'll come back to that. I was thinking about how a lot of this stuff, I wrote about this in my book as well. It's a lot like going hiking, especially if you're going hiking uphill, right? Like every step can feel really monotonous and a little bit slow and like you're not really getting anywhere. But just take a second and look back and think about where you've came from and how far you've gone, and like enjoy the view on the way up. I think it's a C.S. Lewis quote that says, "It's amazing how day by day things never change, but looking back, everything's different."
I get proved that like in my life so often. And then every time I'm so surprised, and I shouldn't be. That's just life though, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's everything. I think that's everything. instead of going over the 1% thing, because it's kind of a deviation, if you're interested in reading about that, it's a British cycling team. I'll also put the link on that in our show notes as well. I'm not going to remember that one, so I need to write that down. Written down 1%. All right, cool. You can read a little bit more about that below. All right. You know what? That's the month of April. That's everything we got. We hope you've enjoyed everything. If you haven't checked out, our different social media accounts, on Instagram, what else do we have? Oh my gosh, all the things.
Instagram, website,
YouTube,
YouTube,
yeah.
blogs.
Yep. We got all the things. So make sure you're checking those out. We've been dishing out some other material there as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, we post a lot of our things on Facebook, so you can check us out there at Music Effect Design. We've been doing a lot of extra conversational posts and some TED Talks and some other things that are kind of supplemental to what we've been doing here. We are taking next month off. We'll be doing some reruns of some old material, so we'll still be sort of around. You'll see us there, but we will be back soon.
Hopefully we'll be answering a lot of emails and coming up with new material that you guys need. I'm hoping that's what our months off will look like as well.
That's a great point. May begins to become like, okay, some people are ready to start writing shows, so that's when I get busy, and we've got a million things going on with, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we definitely love to answer emails and
help where we can.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we got. Thank you all so much for joining us this far. These 5 episodes, these 4 weeks have been really great. We've enjoyed being here. We will be back. We'll be back in June, and we look forward to seeing you then. Until then, take care, everybody.